Good boy. Come here. Good boy. Good boy. You come with me? Good boy. And ho. Good boy. Hey. Good boy. This way, silly. This way. This way. Over here. Good boy. Come on in, handsome. Good boy. What do you think? What do you think? Like that cone? 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 There. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. What do you see? Oh, the hula hoop. Oh my. That's alright. Good boy. You go with this mat. Good boy. Hank. You tried. That was a good attempt. You go back. Hank. Oh boy. You know? Good boy. Good boy. Trot. Keep going. Good boy. Good boy. Going down to Daisy. Going down to Daisy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. You're so smart. You're so smart. Good boy. Boy, the good boy. Ready? Good boy. Good boy, Friday. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Ready? You walk. Wonka, go lay down. Go lay down, Wonka. Come on, Freddy. Freddy, come here. Come here. Good boy. Come on. I know. Come on. How about this side? Oh boy. Trot. Ready? Canter. Come on. Good. Good boy. Easy. Good boy. Ready? Trot. Ready? Get her! Come on! Get her! Come on! Come on! Come on! Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Thank you. Wonka, stay. Penny. Up, up, higher. Higher, higher. Up here. Good. Stay, Wonka. This side. This side, right here. Higher. Higher. Oh boy, Friday. You this side? Good boy, Friday. That side? That side? Which one? Wonka! Monster! Here. Show you one more time to actually get a foot on the mat. Mat? We're kind of missing that one today, huh? That's okay. Good boy. You hunches over. Boy, your shoulders over. Oh boy. And you hunches over. Good boy. And your shoulders over. Very nice. Very nice. And we yield. Good boy. Good boy. Come here. Target. Oh, Friday, come here. Come here. Good boy. Okay, target. Friday, target. There we go. Good boy. Ouch, gentle. You're such a good boy. There we go. Ready? Smile. Smile. Hey, 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 hey. Smile. 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 Still chewing. Smile. Hey, buddy. Hello, everyone. Okay, let's stop.